When Jeffrey Epstein's name hits the headlines again, the internet has a predictable response. Grab the red yarn, start pinning it to a corkboard, and begin connecting the dots. This time, the plot thickens with a controversial twist, linking Melania Trump to the enigmatic financier. In the world of Epstein, everything is murky, and when you toss in Melania, it's hard not to wonder if things are a bit too intertwined. Is this all just a conspiracy theory spun from the wildest corners of the internet? Or is there something deeper, something darker behind the stories and the missing pieces? Strap in, because we're about to dive into a strange and slippery timeline that involves mysterious visas, fashion parties, luxury real estate, and yes, even the infamous Lolita Express. Get ready for a wild ride. The model from Yugoslavia. Before she was a first lady, Melania Knaus, born in Sevnica, Yugoslavia, now Slovenia, was simply a teenage girl with a dream to become a supermodel. Starting at the tender age of 16, she jumped into the cutthroat world of European fashion, working in major cities like Paris and Milan. In 1996, she landed in New York, a city teeming with opportunity, thanks to Paulo Zampolli, a New York-based modeling agent with an international network and a taste for the finer things in life. Zampolli was a pivotal figure in helping Melania's career take off in the US. He sponsored her immigration and found her early gigs. At the same time, he arranged for Melania to share an apartment with a fashion photographer. But here's where things get tricky. Melania was on a travel visa that didn't actually permit her to work in the US. So, the young model was living in legal limbo while reportedly taking on a number of modeling jobs, roughly 10, during her time in New York. These were technically unauthorized gigs, but it didn't seem to slow her down. Eventually, Zampolli helped her secure a proper work visa, which set her career on the right track. One of her first big breaks? A campaign for Camel cigarettes, which saw her face featured on a massive billboard in Times Square. Her image also appeared in Rolling Stone. She was 26 years old at the time, a little older than most of her contemporaries, but a late-blooming model with a face that was quickly becoming recognizable. Zampoli's side hustles. It's important to note that Zampolli wasn't just a model agent. He was something of a jack of all trades. After helping launch Melania's career, he transitioned into real estate. He eventually partnered with the Trump Organization to help sell luxury condos, which is where the first connection between Melania and the Trump world took root. Zampoli's modeling agency, ID Models, wasn't just about fashion, it was about pushing upscale real estate. Melania, who was never a licensed real estate agent, found herself becoming part of a luxurious ecosystem where runway shows and multi-million-dollar apartments intersected. Her world was now intimately linked with high-end real estate, a world dominated by powerful figures, including Donald Trump. 3 versions of a meet-cute. The next chapter in Melania's story involves how she met Donald Trump. There are multiple versions of this meeting, but they all have one thing in common. It happened at a fashion event in New York City. According to Zampolli, he introduced Melania and Trump at a party during New York Fashion Week in 1998. Zampolli is the one who made the connection between the two, claiming he personally facilitated the meeting. Melania, however, tells a different story. In her version, Trump was still married to Marla Maples and attended the event with another woman. Despite this, Trump didn't waste any time. He approached Melania, asked for her number, and was rebuffed. Melania, ever the clever one, told him that if he gave her his number, she might just call him. Spoiler, she did. Then there's the claim from Epstein, who reportedly told others that he introduced Melania to Trump, something Zampolli flatly denied in 2019. So, who's telling the truth? Well, that depends on who you ask. Michael Wolff's Bombshell. This is where things start to get really interesting. Enter Michael Wolff, the journalist behind Fire and Fury. Wolff made a series of explosive claims that linked Melania to Epstein's social circle in a more significant way than anyone had realized. Wolff insisted that Melania was very involved in Epstein's world, suggesting that she was connected to both Epstein and Trump through their shared ties to the modeling world. In a podcast interview, Wolff went as far as saying Epstein knew her well. This was a bombshell for anyone following the Epstein scandal, as it cast a new light on Melania's pre-Trump life. While Melania and Trump's relationship was often framed as a fairy tale romance, Wolff's claims suggest that there might have been more shadowy connections at play behind the scenes. The Lolita Express allegations. Wolff didn't stop there. He also referenced a troubling rumor that Epstein had once hinted that Melania and Trump's relationship had turned romantic aboard his private jet, the Lolita Express. Now, this is where we need to tread lightly. Epstein, of course, is no longer around to confirm or deny such allegations, and Wolff himself only referenced these rumors in passing. But the mere suggestion that Melania and Trump's romance may have been influenced by their mutual connections to Epstein adds another layer of intrigue to an already murky situation, the Great Melania Reset. One thing that has puzzled journalists and conspiracy theorists alike is how little is known about Melania's personal life before meeting Donald Trump. There's almost no information about her life in Europe, particularly before she moved to the United States. It's as if someone hit the reset button on her past the moment she married Trump. This gap in her history has raised eyebrows. Is it a coincidence, or was it a deliberate attempt to scrub the past clean, possibly to protect Melania from any unwanted connections? When you combine this with Zampoli's known ties to both Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, the mystery grows even deeper. The lack of detailed records surrounding Melania's early years makes it seem as though someone, whether it's Melania herself or others, wanted to keep her personal life under wraps. Trump and Epstein. But the real drama, as always, centers on Donald Trump and his complicated relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. For years, the two were thick as thieves, frequenting parties and high society events together. Epstein had a mansion in Manhattan, and Trump had Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach. They were inseparable until they weren't. In 2002, Trump spoke glowingly of Epstein to New York Magazine, calling him a terrific guy and joking about how Epstein likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. Fast forward to 1992, and there's infamous NBC footage showing Trump and Epstein at Mar-a-Lago, laughing and pointing at women on the dance floor like they were picking items off a menu. Around the same time, Trump hosted a calendar girl contest at Mar-a-Lago. The event was supposed to be a celebration of glamour, but when the 28 women arrived, they found that the only men in attendance were Trump and Epstein. But by 2004, things began to sour. Both men were fighting over prime real estate in Palm Beach, and rumors began to circulate that their once close friendship had deteriorated. The final nail in the coffin came in 2019 when Epstein was arrested. Trump, who had previously been somewhat friendly with the financier, began distancing himself publicly. He was quick to say that he was not a fan of Epstein and that they had a falling out long before the arrest. However, there's one small problem. Flight logs showed that Trump had flown on Epstein's private jet 7 times. And that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the tangled web of Melania Trump, Donald Trump, and Jeffrey Epstein. If you found this story as intriguing and disturbing as we did, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more shocking revelations and stories you won't find anywhere else. Got thoughts or theories of your own about this mess? Drop them in the comments below. We love hearing what you think. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.